This podcast was prepared by the Digression Method. The opinions expressed in this show are those of the hosts and do not reflect the view of the scientists, the Department of Education, or the United States Science Board.
From the outermost edges of space, with a destiny so strong.
Get over how important you think you are in the scheme of the universe, and embrace the universe a little bit more.
They're back, and this time, even funnier.
Prepare to enter a zone where your mind cannot follow the signs.
Right before your eyes, the secrets of the universe will be revealed.
Back in the 80s or 90s, I was involved in an experiment that basically we were propelled forward in time, and I traveled to 600 years in the future.
How far would you go?
This is ingrained into my DNA. This is what I have to do because I don't know how to be a human without doing these things.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back. Digression Method.
Dedication episode. Lost my father this Saturday. He's an avid biker, so thus the introduction sounds.
Spirit, indeed.
He was always a very intelligent guy. In anything that he applied himself to, he knew the names of everybody in a band. If that was his favorite band, or if he even liked them at all, he could tell you, oh yeah, this is, Ozzy Osbourne on the lyrics, and Bill Ward on drums, and whatever. But one thing that I always remember about him is he always had these old radios. And that was kind of the start of my fascination with radio, because I was like, well, hey, do these work? Can I, play with them and whatever? And as I was growing up, there came a certain point where he was like, you should go into radio. You have the voice for it, and I think you could do well. Fast forward about 15 years, and here we are doing the third season of the podcast. So,
coming abroad.
Glad he's in a better place now, and I'm going to crack a beer for him.
May you rest in peace.
Wherever you are, Dad. Cheers.
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 Yeah, it's tough stuff, man. Tough stuff.
Indeed.
But that is life. Life's a tough one. Wonder where you go. We're very...
Well, energy never, like we were talking about before the show. I just did the terrible line that we hate to do, but
I hear
energy never dissipates. And we are all comprised of energy, so even from a physics standpoint, if energy never dissipates, then the energy that you were in life, it's out there somewhere.
Well, and there's that one like kind of philosophical thing that you can apply to people, where it's like eventually, after like maybe a 10-year span, all of your atoms that compose you will have been recycled in some way, and so essentially, the version that has been you at certain times has gone away completely and turned into this other person. So technically, you are out there. I mean, interacting. Other people are using your atoms. Other things you're just like, part of your atoms are just sitting somewhere. Some water that you used. I mean,
perhaps that's where street wisdom comes from.
You're just picking up other people's atoms and their energy and their wisdom, like, subtle wisdom.
They were intelligent.
Like we're having this conversation at this level, but on like an anatomic level, they're doing the same thing.
Somebody else has had this conversation, and we're speaking for the many that have used our atoms before.
And there are millions of our atoms out there, and they're intermingling with other people's atoms. They're gaining that street wisdom.
Just accumulating.
So one thing that I thought was cool, that I'm gonna do here after his memorial at the end of the month, there's a service that I think it's called Living Urn. But basically, you take some of the ashes and mix it in with the potting soil that they send you, and that becomes the tree, and that tree gets planted wherever you let. So that's just another way of recycling the atoms, and yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I've heard about some things where they put like a seed or something in your head, or like put you in like a sack that's like kind of it's like also mushrooms that has like some sort of fungus in it where it'll like kind of decompose you pretty quickly or whatever, and kind of, because a body, like, if you get buried, a body's actually like you would think like, oh, bugs would come and eat you. It's like, no, you're full of embalming fluid. There's all this other stuff. It's like you have a lot of weird heavy metals and stuff in your body. It's like actually like a, kind of bad. Like it's not like it matters, or bad is, I guess, not the right term, but it's just a weird thing. So it's like if you can just be kind of eaten away easier, that's a little better on the environment. Or
even just being cremated, like he was.
Yeah, see, that's one thing I've wondered. It's like, should I get cremated? Should I just get buried? First I thought I was gonna get cremated. Now I'm like, I'd probably just get buried. I'm not sure.
It's always been Viking style send off for me.
Can you even do if you can even do stuff like that? Yeah. Is that legal? You have
Maybe if you have your own private land, but you can definitely not do that on just out in the ocean or anything like that.
Yeah.
I hang out with enough degenerate style people that like somebody will do it even facing the consequences.
You know what? When I go out, we're gonna meet here. I'm gonna be dead. Just put me on this raft. Start an engine that you don't care about. Send me out in the ocean on fire. Fill me full of gasoline, and
you don't have to stand here and watch because I know it's illegal. But like, I mean, it's a man's last wish. You know?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I wonder if there's some way where you can like, no, you can't just be like, even if it in the spirit of what would it be, ceremony or something. Like your last rites, I don't think you could be just dumping bodies in the ocean like that. It'd just be too.
No. You might be able to do the like bonfire thing that the pyre and everything. You might be able to do that on land, because that would have essentially just turned into ashes, more or less.
Oh, but it's like I'm just trying to think of the legalities of it, where you're just like, well, he died here, they came and announced him, and we didn't let them take the body, and we took him and burned him. If the cops or whatever, like, you can't do that. Like, what are you doing? But it's like, I
didn't say it was easy. I just said that's the way I want to go.
Yeah. And why do you care? Why would you care about that hassle? You're dead.
I'm dead. Yeah.
So it's like, please, guys, I'll try to leave some money to help you set this thing up, and you
throughout my lifetime, maybe I'll like collect a boat, and like it could be my boat.
You just buy like a tiny parcel of land in the forest to just contain this boat that you're gonna be burned in. Just have it covered, and then I go, in his will it says we need to go to these coordinates and grab a boat.
I mean, if I amass enough wealth, I'll build my own lake, and then like I'll then turn my estate over to the public, so it could be like walking grounds. And he lies at the bottom of his own lake.
He's in the middle of that. Yuck! It's this. Yeah. It'd be your bones, and they would decompose. And, either way,
I start out as fish food,
or end up as you wouldn't start out as fish food. You'd end up as fish food. Wouldn't that be it?
Well, I mean, starting and ending is relative when you're dead.
I guess. Man, it's infinite.
It's all cyclical.
It's just you're part of the infinite now, if it is infinite. And then one day,
all right, so moving on to the article,
into a black hole. Oh yeah, moving on.
Oh, shifty slides.
Yeah, it's big news in the science world as of lately.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
They've taken a picture of a black hole. It's finally, and we've been talking about this for so long.
This is not that image.
Yeah, this is not the same image of our black hole, but it is an image of a black hole.
Yeah, it's a black hole. Where, this has been an article of mine for many an episode, at least 2 or 3, where it's like, yeah, they're gonna do it. They took the picture. Now we're waiting. Or they're gonna do it, or did they do it? It was just this. I had an article in the wait on like my phone where it was, when are we getting the picture? And I was like, dude, yeah. It's been like a year. Well, if you follow us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on YouTube, watching it, you can see the picture. If you're following us or listening to us, go to youtube.com, Digression Method, and we have the video version of the podcast up. But yeah, we got a picture of the infamous black hole here, which it's pretty cool. There was another picture that was associated with this that I saw that. I don't know where it's at right now. It may have been a different article, or that's just not on IFL Science, which I like there. I like IFL Science, so I get a lot of my articles from here. But still a cool picture because that's the center of a galaxy, where that's just like all matter and all this stuff that's superheated, and there are stars and stuff in there, kind of whipping around, and I mean, space
getting sucked in.
Yeah,
isn't that the event horizon?
Yeah, that's where it's... Well, the event horizon is just the place...
The outer shell.
Yeah, it's a place in the black hole where once you pass it, there's no escape.
You can't escape.
Or at least light can't escape. So, we don't know if you can do some weird physics stuff and break free of a black hole or go in it, or who knows. But as far as we know now, yeah, you approach the event horizon, and then you'll see something go over it. And since like light can't go back to like things will just sit there for a while and then they'll just disappear. Like something will have gone over the event horizon. You're like, oh, they're over, and as they're getting closer to it, they're like, I've heard it's the thing like if you were standing straight up and you were falling into a black hole, feet first, you would start getting stretched out because like your feet are closer than your head is to the black hole, and the black hole's so powerful it'll just start stretching things out and like ripping them apart, and so your legs will start getting real stretched out, and your feet and everything, and then eventually you'll get ripped apart, like I guess atom by atom, and fall into it, and people would just see you like I don't know, but it slowly get stretched out, and then you would just disappear,
ripped apart atom by atom. I mean that's like dissolving at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I was.
That's got to be painful though. Like if that was something that could be possible.
I wonder. It.
Because being slowly torn apart, like you'd almost feel like you were on a stretcher in medieval times, and then you just like start like.
I imagine you'd be dead before you got close to the event horizon, because it's like as you get closer to the thing, I think gravity is increasing. And so it's like it's harder to get away from it the closer you are. And so you'd probably hit a point where all your atoms in your body or whatever are getting pulled and yanked so hard. I wonder about that. I mean, I obviously don't know, but that's a good question to ask a physicist. Like, how close could you get to one without dying? Theoretically, with the gravity and stuff. No dust, no debris to hit you, or no heat. It's just.
Have we ever sent a satellite into?
Dude, we haven't even we sent the Voyager probe off in the 70s, and it just in these last like couple years just got out of our heliosphere, like out of the influence of the sun. I mean, the closest star is 4 light years away. Alpha Centauri, I believe it is, like 4 light years away. The closest black hole is like millions of light years away. So no, we haven't even. That's why we have such a weird picture right here, because it's like we haven't even gotten close. That's why we need that. Even at the speed of light, I mean, it's ridiculous. It takes forever, but because
we just need Mass Effect drives.
Yeah, dude. We need like, faster than light, like million miles, dude. Imagine even
just being
a million miles an hour isn't enough. Like, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think this one, the picture that we're looking at, it was like, it's Messier 87. This is the black hole at the center of that galaxy, and it's like 50 million light years away or 80 million light years away, but I mean it's so far, dude. 54 million light years away. That's so far. It's ridiculous. Well, I love it. Finally, there was man. We'll post it next episode or something. There was another picture that like they had that was a little more zoomed out. That it was like a bigger like a bigger fireball kind of like disc around it. And it was like, oh, I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like,
yeah, you're Sauron.
I mean, it's just interesting to see that to finally get to see that.
Yeah, for the first time. I mean,
because there are people that have been working on this particular image that in their lifetime they were not able to actually get.
Now transition us into AJ's article, because this is big news in the science world, so we're just gonna kind of black hole it up. We do have one other space article that we'll try to get to, but we're gonna kind of stick with black holes. But yeah, I agree. I find that just so amazing. It's one of those things that really checks me at times when you think like you sit and you go, oh, the present's the best. Present time's the best. It's like currently, yeah, but at the same time, it's like people were doing stuff that you're doing now that you think you're so special for back when they couldn't even look at a black hole. And we have a picture here that's just like, it's a part of an article, and I'll let AJ take over. But
and I was just, I mean, this is a great article. We'll of course have it linked. But it just kind of gives you a timeline of when we first started talking about black holes, and when like the terminology actually came about, and just all these little understandings. Like I found
late 1700s, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 1783 is like when they had John Mitchell first started talking about what would later become known as a black hole, and the notion was just that light can't escape from an object that is extremely massive.
Yeah, dude. To even have them, I mean,
how did he theorize this? Was it just like what was there experiments that he used, or was it just a theory at the time?
Because I'm like, man, how does a guy in the 1700s know about like photons and stuff? And I mean, they knew a lot of stuff. I mean, a long time ago, they knew that the Galileo.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not discrediting them, but they were also limited in their technology.
Yeah, I'm trying to give them props. Like, man, they knew their stuff. They were able to, with what the limited stuff they had, they're like, hey, we're not the center of all this. Everything's around the sun. There's actual like
the Earth is
orbits and
and I imagine like there is a practical like test that you can do to kind of prove that. Like that's when anytime I see like where somebody makes that statement back then, you're like, there has to be a way that you can use like a concentrated light with like a dark object, and that like there has to be a practical way to be able to formulate an idea
that
would
like just be absorbance. That because we've talked about Vantablack before, where it's the thing where it absorbs 99.99% of light. So it's not that light is even like, it just absorbs it. It doesn't kick you back anything else. So I don't know if that has anything to do with like gravity or anything, but I mean, obviously I don't know. That guy would know better.
Or maybe it's like
just an interest. It's like, man, it just blows my mind. Like, how do you come up with that?
Or maybe
like,
it's like looking at like a campfire from the distance and realizing that like that light is right there.
Because they understood lumens, because that's what a candle. It's light from one candle.
Yeah,
and that's how you measure, light bulbs and stuff.
So you see lights right there, and it has almost like a haze or a glow around it for like where the light is reaching. But then there's eventually a spot when you're looking out into the distance where there's like space in the background, for example, there's eventually a spot where that light doesn't impact it, where it's still clear. So maybe you could see that, like, okay, well, this light is only going so far into this
how
infiniteness.
does that tie to like gravity, where it's like, light only stretches so far, but the whole point of what he's saying is something with so much mass and so much gravity that not even light can escape. It's like, man, those guys are just super smart.
Well, that's
they sat and pondered
like we always focus on like what can't escape, and light obviously can't, but like
things do though, because back in season 2 when we did Return of the AGNs and stuff, and we back in season 1, which isn't released, but we will one day, we had an episode where we talked to our buddy Max Atkins. We've talked about him before, future president. And he's talked about active galactic nuclei, where it's this thing being accreted or like being like spit out of it, or like these jets that are coming out of it. So it's like
basically the black hole burps, right?
I guess, man, it's weird. Like, light can't escape, but stuff is still like radiating out of it, or radiation. I don't know, man. I obviously don't know.
There was an interesting part of this article. So as we're looking through, 1915 is when Albert Einstein has the theory of relativity, and then 1916 it's almost proven correct by Carl Schwarzschild.
I don't know if that's it, but Schwarzschild. But yeah.
And so if we keep, and that's kind of gives the idea. Wasn't that one? No, so if you move a little bit forward, that's the stellar collapse, so 1939, and Robert Oppenheimer, which grandfather.
He's old school. I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys, J. Robert Oppenheimer. I could be completely wrong, but I think he was one of the guys that actually came over and helped make some of the rockets to help us get to the moon.
Would that have been part of Operation Paperclip? I mean, we could probably look it up real quick.
See, I think I know a lot of those guys were definitely a part of that, where they're creating the nuclear bombs and stuff. Or he was one of the German guys that they brought over, because he definitely was.
This particular is relating to, they came up with the idea that supermassive stars collapsing in onto themselves could be a possible way that a black hole is created.
Okay, so Robert Oppenheimer is the father of the atomic bomb. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But that's one thing. Black hole or stars. I mean,
he did come over as part of Operation Paperclip. So
and they brought over all the German scientists and stuff. But stars will blow up. One thing, I'm taking geology and I'm taking a lot of earth science stuff in school right now. And one thing is, I never really considered, the teacher had said, he's like, we're in an nth degree or nth cycle solar system, which means you don't know how many times our solar system's been a solar system, which you go like, what? I was like, wait, what? It's like, no, you get, the sun will burns helium or burns hydrogen, turns it into helium. A lot of other stuff through nuclear fission gets created in the center of stars. And so then they blow up, they create a nebula. That nebula has all this gas and stuff in it. That stuff will eventually possibly turn into another star or just turn into a solar system. So it's like, you'll look at all the Eagle Nebula, or even in the Eagle Nebula, you see the pillars of creation. It's like, that stuff's going to turn into stars and solar systems. And they'll blow up, and then there'll be heavier elements present, and then possibly turn into another star or solar system, or just get gobbled up by another star or something that just kind of goes, oh, hey, more mass for me. I mean, I never considered that. It's like, oh, yeah, you just, eventually sun's going to blow up and take out the Earth, and all the heavy elements that are here and with the sun are going to do whatever and create a nebula or create another star, or
create
the
a black
star
hole.
The star will blow up, still have so much material that will just condense again. You have a neutron star, which are even heavier than normal. Then after a while, collect so much matter and stuff, become a black hole.
Yeah. But the interesting part was where they figured out that it could have a gas. There's a gas around the black hole. And the idea was that like black holes can, like, theoretically, if all that gas burned off, they could dissolve themselves. So that was the quasar connection. So seeing the brilliant light was like our, oh hey, that's probably actually
a black hole that just blew up or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the light that
or released a ton of
So would they have seen that with the naked eye, or did they have telescopes back in that day?
Oh, they've had telescopes for hundreds of years. You know, they've been out for quite a long time. But
Okay.
I imagine they.
But
would,
were they as powerful? I wonder.
well,
1963,
swear I've
I would
heard that
imagine they had.
people have seen.
Okay, 1963.
Yeah, this is 1963 when we looked at the quasars.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that there was a time in history where like there was a supernova like fairly close or whatever that you could see in the daytime for like 20 days. It was just this, you know, sparkle in the sky or whatever that just was there and then went away. And it's like, oh wow. So I mean, I wonder if you could see a quasar. I imagine you could. I mean,
depending on where it is,
you could see pulsars, even though it's. I say that, and I've never actually seen a pulsar. That's one thing. It's like, oh, you can see them, but it's like you look. I've heard this, like if you're like looking at the sky and you see a star that's like blinking at you, that's probably a pulsar. But there could be times where you just get a big, you know, like a flash, and then it goes away, and that could be a quasar.
Yeah.
What about the ones that are like blinky and then they like shift a little bit and then they're, what are those?
Blinky and shift? What do you mean?
Because I've been looking at like the stars lately in my backyard, and I've seen like stars that look like they're like blinking, and then like I'll watch them and they kind of like shift a little bit, like move on a trajectory, and then they stop.
Well, no, so that could be a trick of your eye, because one thing, I mean, you know, you look at the moon when it's coming up over the horizon, and it looks big, but then once it goes up a little bit, it
starts to look smaller.
It'll look normal. And I guess when I went and saw Neil Tyson last year, he's like, oh, one trick to get your brain to stop doing that is to look at the moon between your legs. With the way your vision's inverted and stuff, you'll see it normally, and then you go, oh yeah, and then you look at
the moon between your legs, and then kiss.
Just bend over, look at the moon between your legs or whatever, and it will, when it's coming up over the horizon where you think it looks bigger, and then it'll look normal. So it could just be because I've done that too, where I've when I used to smoke, I'd be sitting there and I'd be looking at a star. And I'm like, that looks like it's like something coming at me. It looks like there's something burning in the sky, or it's like moving a little bit. And it's like, it definitely is moving, depending on how long you're sitting there and looking at it.
Yeah.
And also, like, it could just be the way because, you know, stars don't like glimmer. They don't twinkle, little star. That's from the atmosphere. That's not like
the light filtering through our atmosphere.
Yeah. It's just so. I wonder.
1964 is when we first called them black holes. So the name.
What were they called before that? Round circular squares of
light gobbling hole. The light gobbling.
Light gobbling monsters.
It was called the Destroyer of Galaxies.
Yeah.
It was called Taserface.
All of them. They're the engine of a galaxy.
Yeah.
They're all spiral and whatever because they're falling into that thing.
And it's interesting for like something big happened in the 60s because a lot of like advances in black holes came during that time. This is 1972 when we figured out that how would you pronounce that?
Cygnus X1.
Cygnus X1 was
I never heard of this.
Was a black hole, and Stephen Hawking, who's kind of like the father of this research, actually made a bet against it being a black hole, only in the like knowing that if he was wrong, that he could eventually study it more.
Because being wrong is fine in science.
Yeah,
it's actually a good thing. Oh, something happened, well, let's change it. Oh, something happened, let's change it. Oh, let's change. I mean, let's get to the bottom of this the right way.
And in 1974, what was this? It talks about realizing that it was kind of energy waves or radio waves were being emitted from the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
It kicks out X-rays. It kicks out all sorts of stuff.
So maybe it's like, that's where the engine of the galaxy understanding came about.
Yeah, I wonder.
Or it's like, that's at the center of our galaxy, so perhaps.
It is now believed to be a supermassive black hole with about 4 million times the sun's mass. And 99% of the mass in our solar system is the sun. In all of our solar system. Jupiter, Saturn, all the asteroid belt, every planet 9 or whatever. I mean, 99%, that one, this star. And it, it's crazy. It's just like, wow. And this is 4 million times bigger than that. Like, what? I've seen things where it's like, oh, here's an image of what a black hole is, and it's like, oh, this is the width of our solar system, and it's like a dot. And you're like, are you kidding me? That's freaking me out. Like, goodness gracious.
At least with something like that, it's quick,
Hopefully. I wonder about that. How does a gravity affect cell biology? How does it affect biology? Because there's some things that's like, you'll mix stuff up, or there's some like fine sediment, like you're in some whatever solution, whatever, and that is so fine, and with the way it's in water, there's not enough gravity where it's actually going to separate out. It'll just stay like that, stay like mixing or whatever, just sitting there. It's like, I'm curious about that. That's on this as far as we are from the core of our Earth, where the most gravity is and stuff. So I mean, I'm interested in that.
1974. This almost relates to the AGN. Stephen Hawking says that black holes are not all black, but it emit
a faint haze. Wow.
Yeah. And it's called the Hawking radiation.
Even though I've heard a lot of stuff with this,
that's why they have that photo of Hawking inside the black hole.
We'll get there. We're almost done because I want to end with. There's been so many. Caleb found this article where there's been so many funny responses, and we were kind of looking at, to just people, the average person responding to it and doing photoshops, and it's pretty funny. It was gonna fly through the rest of this. Was like
there's just
this is the black hole they took the picture of.
M87.
That's the one. Messier 87. Oh, I'm assuming M87. M87.
So when was that?
This is in 1978. So they 40 years later.
Yeah, there's only one more part of this that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, we're at the end of it right now, pretty much. 2008 now. We jumped from 1978 to 2000. So I wonder, a lot of research going on in that timeline, but still, like, the Event Horizon.
So we had that in 2008. Early Event Horizon results. So kind of a first preliminary picture, if you will.
Oh, Firewall Frenzy showing about stuff. Firewalls that would fry anything that fall. Because that's the one thing. You've got so much stuff. There's so much friction. That was one thing. I remember watching a video with pulsars and stuff, where they'll blow up and they're spinning. So you have this thing like that's super super dense. That's like the size. From what I remember, one of the things that says like the size of Manhattan, spinning like so fast. Or like they could be doing like millisecond pulsars or nanosecond pulsars where they're doing a rotation in a millisecond or a nanosecond, and it's like you have particles and like debris and stuff that, depending on how it falls, it's like you have a bike tire that's you have your bike upside down and you're like spinning the tire to get it going faster, or you're falling on top of it directly and it's like you're putting your hand on it trying to basically grab it and stop, or just putting your hand directly on it. So I wonder if one thing is like, as you have a black hole, you have all this stuff going around. You have a lot of friction. You have a lot of heat and stuff. So that's interesting. Like, I mean, these people that actually know stuff about space and black holes and all that, they're like, oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, like
this is just most likely.
This is just commonplace for me.
Yeah,
it's kind of like going to the dump on a Saturday. Like, you're gonna wait in the line. So there's just a bunch of stuff trying to get in there, and then people are rioting.
That's all just slowly fall. Well, not even slowly. Yeah, that's crazy. Space-time ripples. Whoa. Oh yeah, the gravitational wave. So yeah, this is one thing. 2016, they had the they finally got like the equipment to measure gravitational waves. They got it set up. They turned it on, and within like days, they had already found gravitational waves.
Yeah, it's actually something we covered.
Yeah, I remember we covered that.
Yeah,
didn't
so
we?
we did talk about that. Yeah.
So
And that's just so crazy. Like, you just two big things hitting, and then just that ripple of through space time.
And so a collision of like
So
two
cool.
black holes.
Because we were talking about the Jello. I remember that's where it was like, oh, you're on a thing that's in the Jello, and it's all moving and it's all expanding, and the things are hitting and rippling through, and but it's all flat.
Yeah.
It's so
So that was like, I was like, that's a nice little top off to this because it does
then
come
the
full circle for
full
us.
circle to the first picture
Yep.
in our last article.
Hells yeah.
And then you go to the funny ones. There's a ton of good ones that people have done, and one of them that's kind of crude, but I love it. And it's right here, Samantha Coles. She's just like, I'm sorry, and it's just the spread. That is just so perfect. That's so like I gotta give them props. That's a good one. Then we scroll down. You got the red ring of death. What's that? A turtle? I don't know what that is. Somebody, I don't know. Then the eye of Sauron.
That's probably my favorite one.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a favorite. The red ring of death is a good one. Sauron's a good one, that is for sure. But Homer's, I like Homer eating the donut, and then just a donut.
So yeah, there's a lot of funny shit out
Kitty
there.
cats, cat eyes, but it's a little
So
face.
a couple of articles that are
Our homie
groundbreaking
Stephen
stuff.
Hawking, even though he doesn't sing our song anymore, we did have him. Well, we didn't have him, but we had heard him. This one did the profile pic versus the faked or the tagged pic. Like, yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, there's a lot of funny pictures.
What were you saying, Caleb?
I was just saying, there's a couple articles today that made history. Israel being one of them. Unfortunately, their mission failed. But here locally, I guess, I just learned that a company here in the Gorge even helped with SpaceX's tubes for the boosters. And basically, what happened there is that they were successfully retrieved the boosters before they just fell to Earth, and now they can be reused. That's the first time in history that that's happened. There's 48 tubes that consist of these boosters, and each one is $10 million.
Damn.
$48
Yes.
million.
SpaceX has been on top of it. Like, it's so cool that they launch a rocket up and then land that thing on a pad in the ocean. It's just crazy. Like, I love it. Oh, here we're gonna drop this stuff off of the ISS, and then we're gonna bring it back down and just prop it right there.
I think that gives us some like local pride, though. The fact that like a company from around here worked on the tubes that made up the boosters that they successfully retrieved.
Well, it's
fuck yeah,
humanity. It's a good. Like,
it is humanity,
even with,
but like
Israel's, this thing failing. Like, I had no part of it, and I wonder if any of us or NASA or whatever helped them in any way. But even if they didn't, it's just like it's such a bummer.
I mean, that's a sad story.
But
that's why I wanted to like end on a happy note, because like the whole like story with Israel, like I'm happy to see that they are like so determined to land a rover on the moon. Like that's awesome. Like keep trying, guys. But
Well,
like
it's like I don't want to.
yeah,
I wouldn't even
it's kind
say
of
it's sad,
a
but-
negative note to end on. So
Well,
talking about SpaceX.
That's what science is. It's not all positives. That's not even close.
You gotta try and fail.
Yeah, I mean, even with SpaceX, they
Exactly.
lost so many rockets. I was watching a compilation the other day. It was like every lost rocket, and all these like blowing up in the air, landing, and then just falling over. It's like it's like a car in Grand Theft Auto where you land on the top, where the thing just slowly it lands, and one of them was like, oh, the legs broke. on one side, so then it slowly fell over, and then once it hits the ground, just kaboom! Like it's a huge fireball, and it was like a half an hour thing of just they lost so many rockets, fall in the ocean, blow up.
Well, and like their parachute, perfecting their parachute was tough too, because like once they went out to test it, they only had the one shot per year, because then it takes so much time to repack it and everything like that. So
see, the rockets I'm thinking of, there's no parachute. It's like the thing takes off and then disengages with whatever its cargo is, and then will like come back down to Earth, and you'll see it do its like little gas jet things where it'll line itself back up nice, and then it will have it just it's so cool. It's so cool. It just all rockets just lands itself.
We just need a space ladder now. We're golden.
Yeah, dude.
no, it's the space elevator, bro.
Well, yeah, but like like put some space stairs in. That's all I'm saying.
Stairway to heavens.
Where were you?
Freedom is free, cost folks like you and me.
That's a good way to end it. Freedom isn't free. There's a.
I'd rather end it on the stairway to heaven, since you mentioned the stairway, man. That seems like a better way to go.
Freedom costs a buck.
Just a very, very, very tall spiral staircase. It's like,
can you imagine that?
It'd be like
you're just walking,
12,
like you're born, you start
up.
crawling up the stairs, and then like by the time you get to like even the stratosphere, you're like 20 years old.
It wouldn't take that long. It's only like 100. I mean, you can walk. That's one thing that makes me think. Like talk about dads. One thing my dad has said to me a long time ago that I want to come back at him now. He's like, "Oh, you couldn't ever count to 1,000,000. There's not enough time." It's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You live for far more than 1,000,000 seconds.
Yeah.
Far more. And even then, like, space, even if space was like 1,000 miles, you could definitely walk 1,000 miles before, you turn.
And
like,
I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500.
I just feel like, like if you're gonna build a staircase that goes up there, you have to call it a staircase to space. You can't call it a stair space to heaven, or
it can't be heaven because
because
you obviously know once you get up there, it's like, oh, this is not heaven.
Well,
these are the heavens.
Well, I mean, it is.
It'll be like
the heavens.
It'll be a human crisis, because then people will be like, heaven's not handicap accessible, and it'll just be this huge elevator. It'll just be this huge fiasco. Like you just call it the space.
You just have like a spiral staircase, and it has one of those things where one person it's a little chair on the side of like a wall staircase, but it just spirals all the way up, and you're on like the outside of it, just.
But it has to move at the same.
Could you
speed
imagine
that
riding
those
the
things
rail
do.
down, like looking to the top? You're just like, huh? I'll take a selfie here, and then just ride the fucking rail down.
Oh man!
And fuck it, if you fall, you're done.
Wear a parachute.
Yeah, you'd have to wear
Felix
a parachute.
Baumgartner.
You'd have to wear a parachute in order to do that. They'd be like, no, we can't let you.
You wouldn't be able to jump from space, though, because you would burn up in the atmosphere.
Well, I mean, it depends on how high up. I mean, Felix Baumgartner, he did jump from space. Like, he was pretty much as far up as you could go without taking a rocket out into
Dude, that's genius, because then we could do like skydiving Olympics.
I even heard.
The American teams up.
Sorry to just kind of be like, oh, whatever you said. It just made me think, like, I swear I'd read an article. I'll try to find it for some other time, where there actually was they found out that the atmosphere might stretch past the moon in some sense, or actually, well, not past the moon, but go 160 miles up or some crazy thing like that. But I'll definitely.
So it's wider
claim.
More expansive than we originally thought it was.
But not like an atmosphere where you could get oxygen and be okay.
I mean,
it just stretches out.
But if our atmosphere stretched out beyond that, then would it then
it's not
have a greater pull on pulling the moon to us? So theoretically, I
don't think the atmosphere has, because with that it's you have just two massive bodies of gravity.
I imagine if you could smell space, it would probably smell like barbecue. and gunpowder.
Chris Hadfield said it smells like burnt steak. He was the one guy that wrote an album in space and was in there. Commander Hadfield, I think it was. His name was. He's been there for like a year or something. Like he'd been up there for a long time.
Smells like burnt.
But he said it smelled like so, and I figured that too. Yeah, it's like it's gotta smell like some sort of.
Well, I mean,
crazy high energy.
Well, and black powder has definitely got to be part of it, right?
I doubt. Well, I mean, that's just a sulfur. I mean, I don't think it would smell like black powder, but because that's a combustible compound on her. I mean, I wonder. It smells like burnt,
with all the stars dying,
hydrogen,
like
the average burnt hydrogen, whatever that is.
Yeah. Which must be burnt steak.
I guess so.
Hydrogen equals steak. That's a good one.
Well, charred stuff is like carbon.
There we go. That's our first T-shirt. Get it on merch table.
Yeah. Hydrogen equals steak.
Yum. Well, I think that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you
have a good week.
Time. Thanks for tuning in. Send any of your questions or comments to the digressionmethod@gmail.com. Download this episode for free at soundcloud.com/digressionmethod. Check out our social media at facebook.com/digressionmethod and twitter.com/digression541. And you can search for us on YouTube, Google Play,